Let's talk about the massive leaks. I mean, just massive, massive leaks that are being called the Paradise Papers. Appleby is a Bermuda-based law firm, and they sent a significant amount of leaks to a German newspaper. That newspaper shared the leaks with the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists, which is a global network that was, they actually won a Pulitzer for their work on the Panama Papers. And these new leaks are an explosion of Trump-Russia revelations, which could end up playing a major role in Robert Mueller's investigation. Wilbur Ross is the Commerce Secretary. We learned two things from the leaks. One, Wilbur Ross has an interest in a shipping company called Navigator Holdings, which does huge business. In fact, its most important business, arguably, is with a Russian energy firm controlled by, hope you're sitting down, Vladimir Putin's son-in-law and other Putin inner circle members. Navigator Holdings is also connected to Sibur, which is a huge Russian petrochemical company. That's part one, okay? Part two is Wilbur Ross failed to disclose those interests in and on his disclosure forms when being confirmed for the position of Secretary of Commerce. Now, I'm not a lawyer, as many of you know. I remind Pat every day that I'm not a lawyer. He forgets. But isn't a Commerce Secretary lying about being business partners with Vladimir Putin's immediate family sort of something we should be concerned about? And of course, the idea that he can just divest and everything's fine, that's also ridiculous, because he'd still know how trade policies and regulations and sanctions would affect his previous business partners, even if he on paper divested. And he did say he'd divest. He said he would recuse himself as necessary, but he never disclosed or explained the interests that he kept. That's Wilbur Ross and the Paradise Papers. Let's move on to Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law, husband of Ivanka Trump, maybe our next winner in Russia indictment bingo, as I'm calling it. The papers that have been recently released reveal that Russian entrepreneur Yuri Milner invested close to $1 million in a Jared Kushner startup called Cadre. And the real news isn't that he actually made the investments in an American company. It's that the documents reveal that Milner himself is also Kremlin connected, which was not known until now. A Kremlin-owned bank invested nearly $200 million into one of Milner's companies. And remember, Jared Kushner told the Senate Intelligence Committee behind closed doors he never relied on Russian money for his businesses. And I guess the word reliance is a weasel word, right? What does it mean to rely? If one Russian source went away, would your business fail? Or does rely mean that if they bailed, you would be able to find other revenue sources? That's going to be the spin, right? Oh, yeah, no. Russian companies invested, but we weren't reliant on their money. But it's even worse with Kushner. Over the last couple months, we've learned of Russian spending, or maybe we would call it investments, using Twitter and Facebook ads. The Paradise Papers exposed that the Kremlin invested hundreds of millions of dollars, not in ad spending, but in the corporations, Twitter and Facebook, through a business associate of Jared Kushner named Yuri Milner, the same guy. Last week, I told you that Twitter offered 15% of their election advertising to Russian state media RT, and we wondered, why would they do that? But why would they do it so cheaply? Just $3 million for 15% of their of all election advertising. Maybe this is why. We don't know. The pieces are starting to come together. And as a reminder, we already know from months ago that the Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, the top diplomat of the United States, he has been confirmed by prior leaked documents to have been the director of a U.S.-Russian oil company based in the Bahamas, which is a total tax haven, folks, believe me. So who isn't connected to Russia in sketchy ways that works for Donald Trump? Maybe we will eventually get an answer to that from Robert Mueller's investigation. We're on Reddit, davidpakman.com/Reddit. Check it out. Back after this. Today's program is made possible in part by ZipRecruiter. If you're hiring, you must know where to post your job to find the best candidates. And hiring can be easier and more streamlined and less time-consuming with ZipRecruiter. And you've got to be able to reach the quality hires that will keep your business moving forward. But you don't want to sink endless amounts of time into finding the right person. With ZipRecruiter, you can post your job to over 100 job sites with just one click. Then ZipRecruiter will put its smart matching technology to work. It will notify qualified candidates about your job within minutes of posting. And ideally, you will then start receiving possible matches for the job you've listed. That's why ZipRecruiter is not like other hiring sites. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on the right candidates finding you. It will find the right candidates and put you in touch with them. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get quality candidates within the site in just one day. No juggling emails, no juggling calls to your office. You can screen, rate, and manage candidates all in one place with ZipRecruiter's dashboard. This is the smartest way to hire. Find out today why ZipRecruiter has been used by businesses of all sizes and industries to find the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. And our listeners and viewers can post jobs on ZipRecruiter for free. Free. That's ziprecruiter.com/PAKMAN. One more time to try it for free. Go to ziprecruiter.com/PAKMAN.